this is tough. We should have been here when the Indians here wanted to buy the property here in the Nebraska. That's a big city council meeting, overflow those sheep. So I appreciate what you do, taking the time to listen. That being said, I'm not going to reiterate many of the things that have been said today that we do agree with, but I'll just give you the story that ultimately comes back to the issue of eminent domain. And I talked about this previously at the first hearing in York, but our tribal nation has a unique history here in Nebraska. This is the 140th anniversary of the time when our tribe was forcibly removed from our homelands here to Oklahoma, and how our people also got jostled around in Oklahoma due to oil. Our people sacrificed and wanted to come home, and many of our people were risking death to come back to this area, what we call home. Today is Nebraska. But what precipitated us being removed in the first place was the fact that the geopolitical borders of Nebraska had us north of that border. Nebraska didn't want us. But this area is what we know, in our history, our people, our traditions, our culture, where our people are buried, where we grew our food, where we got our medicine. And when our people were moved to Oklahoma, those things didn't exist. And our people were willing to die, come back to our homeland, which is Nebraska. And that's what it means to us. Not just on the surface, but what the earth means to us, where our people are buried. And these lands that the proposed pipeline is going through isn't a matter of the route, it's a matter of the pipeline itself. And yes, we have pipelines in this state, in this country, but it doesn't mean we need others. Reinforce the ones that are here. Those are done, we can't change that, we understand that. But when you hear stories about jobs, which I'm all for, I used to be in the union too when I was a teacher. I have friends and relatives that are in unions as well. I learned how to weld from a union member. So that's not the issue. But we're going to talk about jobs and talk about what jobs the state wants to support and move forward, and talk about lost income. I can tell you about some stories of my own tribe. We have a project that the state of Nebraska has fought in court for over 10 years. It's cost jobs, 1,500 to 1,800 jobs that would be there 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and it cost the tribe, my tribe, tens of millions of dollars. So if we're talking about jobs and income, let's talk about all of them. Or is it just because it's a tribe that's involved? Let's talk about how when my tribe buys land, and today, 27 years after we were re-recognized, in our history, we were not only moved to Oklahoma, told to get out of here, but the federal government came back in and told our people, you're no longer PONCA, we're terminating your tribe. We fought that, we're back. And in 27 years, since our tribe has been terminated, and all of our land holdings were given up, and ultimately when we were first removed to Oklahoma, we gave up 96,000 acres that we call Nebraska, South Dakota. Today, we have 1,500 acres back. And as we buy land to restore our traditional homeland, or restore programs and services that we provide to our tribal citizens that are here in Norfolk, Omaha, Lincoln, NEBRASKA, Grand Island. When we buy that land and we put it into trust, and we have to go through that application, even under federal law, when it's federally mandated that it go into trust application, the state of Nebraska fights us every time. Just to put a piece of property into trust so we can turn buffalo out on it. But yet, here we are considering taking land from landowners who legally own it and are protesting this pipeline and for the use of eminent domain. Land that once was ours. We stand here with them today on land that they own, that's been in their families now for generations. They're tied to that land, just as our people are. So we stand with them in opposition, and again, I said this earlier, we know what it's like to have a foreign entity come in and take the land. We know that happened to us and the other tribal nations, and the people here today Next week, I will be joining other tribal nations and First Nations from Canada that are going to sign a treaty alliance banning the tar sands and the expansion and construction of any more Keystone pipelines.
Thank you, Mr.